Welcome to the Cursed Abyss, where we dive into the shadows of the unknown. Tonight we're exploring some of the most chilling urban legends that continue to haunt our world. From eerie creatures to supernatural warnings, these stories have been passed down through the ages. Get ready, because once you enter, there's no turning back. In the dense forests and quiet towns of West Virginia, a mysterious figure has haunted the imagination of locals for decades. The Mothman, a creature with glowing red eyes and wings that stretch over 10 feet, is said to appear as both a warning and an omen of disaster. The legend began in the small town of Point Pleasant in 1966, where two young couples driving late at night encountered something they could never forget. In the darkness, their car headlights illuminated a large, winged figure standing on the side of the road. As they sped away in fear, the creature launched into the air and followed them, effortlessly matching their speed. Its glowing eyes seemed fixed on the car, and its wings made no sound as it glided above the trees. Just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished, leaving the couples shaken and desperate for answers. Over the next year, sightings of the Mothman multiplied. Farmers, hunters, and even police officers reported seeing a similar figure lurking near the abandoned TNT factory just outside town. Some described it as humanoid in shape, towering over 6 feet tall, with feathers so dark they seemed to absorb the light. Its eyes, however, were always the same, unnervingly bright and impossible to ignore. Then, in December 1967, tragedy struck Point Pleasant. The Silver Bridge, a suspension bridge connecting the town to Ohio, collapsed during rush hour, sending cars and their passengers into the icy river below. The disaster claimed the lives of dozens, and many in the town began to connect the Mothman sightings to this event. Some claimed to have seen the creature perched on the bridge in the days leading up to the collapse, interpreting its presence as a grim warning of what was to come. Theories about the Mothman's true nature abound. Cryptozoologists believe it could be a previously undiscovered species, while others argue it might be a visitor from beyond our world. Some skeptics suggest the sightings were misidentified owls or large cranes, their eyes glowing from reflected light. Yet those who've encountered the Mothman reject these explanations, insisting that no known animal could match its size, speed, or eerie presence. Despite the skepticism, the Mothman has become an enduring part of Point Pleasant's identity. The town hosts an annual festival celebrating the creature, drawing visitors from all over the world. A statue of the Mothman stands proudly in the town square, its metallic wings outstretched as if ready to take flight. Stories of the creature continue to inspire books, movies, and debates, ensuring its place in the annals of urban legends. But for those who've seen the Mothman, the legend is anything but fiction. Its glowing eyes, massive wings, and mysterious connection to disaster remain a chilling reminder of the unknown. Whether it's a protector or a harbinger, one thing is certain: the Mothman leaves an impression that's impossible to forget. There's a tale whispered on highways around the world, a story so universal that variations of it exist in nearly every culture. It's the legend of the vanishing hitchhiker, a mysterious figure who appears on desolate roads, seeking a ride but leaving behind more questions than answers. The story typically begins on a quiet, moonlit night. A lone driver sees someone standing at the edge of the road, often a young woman in distress, signaling for a ride. She looks harmless enough, sometimes wearing outdated clothes or carrying a small bag. Moved by her plight, the driver stops and offers her a seat. She thanks them softly, her voice barely audible, and climbs into the car. As the journey unfolds, the hitchhiker speaks very little. She may share vague details: a need to get home, an urgent errand, or a visit to someone she loves. There's something about her presence that feels slightly off, though the driver can't quite pinpoint why. The miles pass, and as they near her destination, she suddenly vanishes without a sound, leaving the driver alone with nothing but an eerie emptiness in the passenger seat. Often, the driver is left shaken but curious. They might visit the address the hitchhiker mentioned, only to discover a chilling twist. The person they picked up has been gone for years. Some say she was a victim of a tragic accident on that very road, her spirit forever seeking a way home. Others believe the hitchhiker is a warning, a way to remind drivers of the dangers lurking in the dark. One of the most famous versions of the story comes from Chicago's Archer Avenue. There, the figure is known as Resurrection Mary, a young woman in a flowing white dress. According to local law, Mary was struck by a car while leaving a dance hall in the 1930s. Her ghost is said to appear near the Resurrection Cemetery, asking for rides from unsuspecting drivers before disappearing when they pass the cemetery gates. Similar tales have been reported in countries around the world, from England to Korea, each with its own unique twist. In Hawaii, for instance, the hitchhiker might be Pele, the volcano goddess, testing the kindness of travelers. In the Philippines, it's often a mysterious man or woman who disappears as soon as the vehicle reaches a bridge. Skeptics chalk these stories up to urban imagination or misremembered dreams, but those who've encountered the vanishing hitchhiker tell a different story. They describe a chill in the air, a strange stillness, and an overwhelming feeling that they've encountered something not of this world. Whether it's a ghostly spirit or a cautionary tale, the vanishing hitchhiker legend endures, reminding us of the thin line between the living and the unknown. So next time you're driving late at night, keep an eye on the roadside, because you never know who might need a ride. In the dim glow of candlelight, a group of friends gathers around a mirror, their reflections flickering with each movement. They've all heard the tale, but tonight they're daring enough to test it. One by one, they whisper her name. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. The air feels heavy and the room seems colder. Then, in the mirror's surface, a shadow moves. A face, pale and distorted, emerges from the darkness. The friends scream and flee, swearing they'll never try it again. The legend of Bloody Mary has been whispered across generations, an eerie rite of passage for those brave or foolish enough to summon her. The exact origins of the story are unclear, but the core remains the same. A spectral figure, often described as a woman in agony, is said to appear when her name is chanted in front of a mirror. In some versions, Mary is a vengeful spirit, seeking retribution for wrongs done to her in life. Others say she's a tragic figure, eternally searching for her lost child. Still, some believe she's a witch or a victim of persecution, her rage and sorrow binding her to the world of the living. Historical links have been drawn between Bloody Mary and real-life figures, such as Queen Mary the Eye of England, whose reign earned her the nickname Bloody Mary due to her persecution of Protestants. However, these connections are speculative, and the legend as we know it seems more rooted in folklore than fact. The ritual to summon her varies, but it typically involves standing before a mirror in a dark room, often with a single candle burning. Some say you must spin around while chanting her name, others claim you must visualize her face. The details differ, but the outcome is always the same. She appears, her reflection either glaring in silence or lunging toward her summoner. Witnesses describe her face as hideously disfigured, with hollow eyes and a twisted expression. Some say her hands are claw-like, while others report a soft, haunting wail echoing in the darkness. Most who attempt the ritual stop the moment they sense something amiss, but legends warn of dire consequences for those who don't. Scratches, fainting, and unexplained injuries are common in these tales, as though Mary punishes those who dare disturb her rest. Psychologists suggest the Bloody Mary phenomenon may stem from a combination of fear, peer pressure, and the power of suggestion. Staring into a dimly lit mirror can create optical illusions, with the brain distorting the reflection into something monstrous. But for those who swear they've seen her, logic offers little comfort. Bloody Mary remains one of the most enduring urban legends, passed down through whispers at slumber parties and gatherings. Her story is a chilling reminder of our fascination with the unknown and the risks of inviting it into our world. So, if you ever find yourself in front of a mirror, tempted to say her name, remember, some legends are best left untested. The Black-Eyed Children. Picture this. It's a quiet evening and you're home alone. The knock at the door is unexpected but not alarming. When you open it, you see two children standing on your porch. They look ordinary at first glance, plain clothes, pale skin, and no visible expressions. But something feels off. Their eyes, completely black without whites or pupils. The empty, soulless stare sends a chill down your spine. This is the unsettling hallmark of the black-eyed children, an urban legend that has spread across the internet and beyond. Stories about these strange beings often follow a similar pattern. The children, typically 2 or 3, approach adults at their homes, in parking lots, or near cars. They ask for something simple, like to use the phone or a ride home. Their voices are calm, almost hypnotic, but their words are strangely formal and devoid of natural emotion. What truly unnerves those who encounter them is their aura. Witnesses describe feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though they're in the presence of something not quite human. Despite their youthful appearance, the black-eyed children seem unnatural, almost predatory. The origin of this phenomenon is murky. The first widely reported account came in the late 1990s from journalist Brian Bethel, who claimed to have encountered 2 boys with solid black eyes in a parking lot in Texas. They asked to be let into his car, insisting they needed a ride. Bethel said their calm persistence and the intense fear they inspired made him drive away in panic. His story sparked a flood of similar reports, many from people who claimed to have had near-identical encounters. Theories about the black-eyed children vary widely. Some believe they are extraterrestrial beings, sent to observe or manipulate humans. Others suggest they could be spirits or demons, trying to gain access to people's homes or their souls by exploiting the universal trustworthiness associated with children. More skeptical minds attribute the stories to mass hysteria, urban folklore, or elaborate pranks. One of the most chilling aspects of these encounters is the consistent detail that the children seem to require permission to enter. Much like old tales of vampires, they can only cross the threshold if invited. But what happens if you let them in? No one knows for sure. Most accounts end with the storyteller slamming the door or driving away. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend of the black-eyed children has persisted, fueled by eerie first-hand accounts, speculative documentaries, and the internet's fascination with the unexplained. Whether they are figments of collective imagination or something more sinister, one thing is clear: their image lingers in the minds of those who hear their story. So the next time you hear a knock at your door late at night, think twice before answering. And if you do, be wary of who or what you let inside. These urban legends have lingered in the dark corners of our imaginations for centuries. Whether they're warnings or whispers from beyond, their grip on our fears remains unbroken. If you've experienced any of these tales, or if you dare to explore further, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a new journey into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.